right. Welcome back. I'm I didn't think this would be an episode. I'm not joking, but you know what? Burnout's real if you don't take care of yourself, and I can tell you straight up, I'm one of those people that have had to navigate through this journey of burnout, and it's not fun. But you know, I'm I trust that there's a divine plan to this all. And there's a lot that we need to really discuss and understand and talk about because especially if you're someone that is in the coaching, mentorship, leadership, wellness, spiritual business industry, the challenge is that so many coaches have taught to focus, to sell, and make all of their marketing around people's pain points rather than the transformation they get to experience by really taking the leap. And because of that, we've witnessed a community of people who want to really make a difference, but they've been still in this loop of suffering, and it's been going on for far too long. And if you don't know, burnout is the definition of suffering and the opposite of freedom, flow, sustainability. And all of those are necessary if you want to run a successful business. So, as someone who's been in this industry for 8 years now, I was even taught to focus on selling to my pain points. And because I was focused on like pain, suffering for so long, it took me hitting rock bottom in my business with burnout that had me get to the point where I had to say enough is enough. And that was the initiation. It was a death for me to truly reevaluate and shift my business. And we have to understand that this suffering or burnout that we can experience, it's a trauma response. And that trauma response is to stay in your comfort zone. And I know for me, the suffering and the burnout that I endured that led me to the hospital with 3 MRIs, a SPECT scan, countless blood tests, an overnight stay at the hospital, 2 ER visits, like so much of my time and my money investing on trying to find answers and them still not giving me answers. All of that was my trauma response to stay in my comfort zone. And I say that in quotes, comfort zone, because I was so attached to my suffering rather than trusting or believing in my worthiness that I could experience success. And this is something I really want you to understand, is because the coaching industry was really built on focus on their pain points, on their suffering, and kind of hook them in by hitting those trigger points. And I know I fell for it a long time ago, but now that I've navigated through it, I know 1, what not to do, and 2, I know what to look out for, and 3, what to do instead. And so I wanted to come on and talk about these 5 lessons I learned from extreme severe burnout, because hitting a rock bottom isn't fun, but you get to choose to have a rebirth. You get to choose to, again, pick up the pieces, understand that the cards you've been dealt, you can work with them in a way that's going to be helping someone else and activating a legacy of letting people know what's possible, showing people what's possible, how if you can overcome it, so can they, kind of thing. And so I want you to understand that if you are choosing to be a sovereign leader, if you are choosing to show up and be of service, if you are choosing to answer the call and take initiative, you have to have to make sure you are taking care of yourself, making sure that you have the foundation set, making sure that you are nourishing your cup, knowing when to take a time out, listening to your body when it's telling you to rest. And remember to have fun along the way. You are building a business. And this is even if you're not building a business, but you're working for someone else, but your life and you're experiencing burnout. You are building the life that you desire as a sovereign being. And so you need to take radical responsibility, watch and be aware of how far you're going, and choose to slow down when you need to, because cultivating that space is going to give you the nuggets of wisdom and that whisper on how you're here to be part of the solution. So I wanted to come and share with you what I've learned. And it's really fascinating because as someone who's had challenges and has navigated through depression and challenges with her mental health her whole life, it's evident that honoring your mental health is non-negotiable, especially when you're in the service industry, and especially if you're in the spiritual industry of holding space. You're hearing like crazy stories sometimes. And you are holding that space in that container and offering compassion, which is beautiful. But you have to make sure that if you are going to be integrous with how you're here to lead, that you are sharing from the space of overflow if you want to sustain success and be of service. So if you're finding yourself more in your egocentric mind, ego edging God out, versus your bigger picture, versus the collective community support that you are here to deliver, if you're stuck in that ego of me versus us, community, we, that right there is the first sign that you need to give yourself some extra TLC. Because with the 2 years that we've experienced and so much, it's been a very challenging time for humanity, without a doubt. But we came here during this time for a reason. And so you need to make sure you're honoring your health in all aspects, right? Especially your mental health. What I'm seeing right now is a war on consciousness, and there's so much division and deceit happening. And I think a lot of people, I'm going to be talking about more about what we learned from the big retrograde season we had the second half of 2021. But we need to really reevaluate who in our life, where's their reciprocity. This can also be with your audience too. If you're creating content or delivering something and there isn't response from your audience, one, you need to check yourself to make sure that it's actually in alignment with your soul babe client, your ideal client, who you're here to deliver. Two, that you're talking to them and it's not just about you. And three, that you're actually delivering content and information that can support them, that keeps them coming back for more because you've cultivated that trust with them. So that medicine and that message came through right now, because I've even had clients recently being like, why am I'm creating content, I'm not getting any followers. And I'm like, well, are you actually creating content that's supporting your audience? And they said no. So you can be burnt out by creating content that isn't, you're mentally like putting all of your eggs in this space, but you're not creating content that's actually supporting them. While that digresses a little bit, it's really leading to a lot of the next point I have. Before they go there, I want to share that you need to take care of yourself, because taking care of yourself, that self-care, that nourishing, where you are making sure that every day you're taking time to honor you, especially before you're going into work. You need to make sure that, and recognize, I should say, that if you don't love and you don't nourish you, how do you expect to receive and experience love when it comes your way? Let alone attract it, and let alone allow these opportunities to come to your way. The more you're nourishing you, your health, you're taking a time out, you're walking away from your computer when enough is enough, you will be able to share from that overflow. And again, you won't be in that egocentric mind, because what I've noticed from my own experience, and I'm taking full responsibility, because I read recently in a comment of mine that like I've made my podcast episodes too much about me. And I appreciated that feedback, because that right there was like, whoa, like, why do I don't need to be looking out for love or for solutions out there. I need to find that within myself. I need to cultivate that within myself first and fill up my cup, and then share from that overflow and use my platforms to be able to share from the wisdom that I've learned along the way. Because it's not about me, it's about the greater mission. And that's what I want you to understand too. Yes, you can share your stories, and yes, you can share your experience, but you'll feel better knowing that, sharing from that overflow, knowing that you're being of service from that space of compassion and love and community. And so I want you to know that these are all things we are deprogramming right now. And it's been so much of what we've seen. I think especially so too, because like a lot of like the blogging world, and we live in like a time of like social media where everyone has to like post everything that they're doing, rather than being present. I just all day before, like as I'm recording this today, I just been hearing Ram Dass saying, be here now. And sometimes we don't know how to be here now because we want to post something that's going to get lots of likes or popularity contests. And these are all the things we are dismantling, as well as my second point here, which is that hustle culture. And that's something that's been ancestral. It's a deep programming that's here to be dismantled. I want you to know that, you know, America is this land of immigrants, right? So we are recognizing, and we see how eclectic and diverse America, and I know I have listeners from all over the world, but I'm going to speak based off of like what I'm seeing in my country. Many American families, they came with very little. And to survive, to make the most of like living in America, this land of opportunity and dreams, they hustled and hustled and hustled and pushed themselves to meet ends meet. And that conditioning has been ingrained into the cellular debris of our DNA and has been passed down from generation to generation to generation in our lineage, until we can be that sacred disruptor and say, enough is enough. This isn't serving me anymore. You get to decide that it ends with you right here, right now. So as you listen to this episode, or should I say, as you get off of this episode, I want you to really take a look and recap and reflect on what habits of your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, your family have you seen that shows up? Maybe it's scarcity, maybe it's overworking, maybe it's self-doubt, maybe it's people-pleasing, maybe it's hustle, maybe it's lack of self-love. Can you get radically honest and see these patterns and then decide that it ends with you? Can you? That's going to take you having that choice to get out of a comfort zone as well. Because again, maybe that hustle culture is part of the cellular debris and the conditioning that's been going on. Maybe the scarcity, the fear of money, the fear of losing time, the fear of missing out on an opportunity, taking on projects that don't feel in alignment because you're afraid of where your money is going to come from, rather than choosing to take care of you and choosing to take things, projects, assignments, creating content that feels in alignment with you, right? Sharing, again, from that space of overflow, and choosing to really live and build a business that's in true alignment with your sovereign truth, with your sovereign embodiment. You know, alignment is the true hustle. If you can find alignment within yourself and you work towards that alignment, what's going to be on the other side is beyond your wildest dreams. And I can tell you, from that space of choosing to be in alignment, honoring your boundaries, saying no, thank you, showing up with reverence, and really saying and respecting yourself, your time, your money, your energy, the doors that will open for you and the possibilities coming your way can enter into your life with ease and grace, without a doubt. So this is leading to my third point, because if you're pushing yourself and you aren't inspired anymore, I want you to know that it's time for you to pivot and choose again. So this is your business that you are building, right? And because you're choosing to build a business based off of your rules, your time, what feels in alignment with you, remember there aren't any rules. I think so many of us think that like when we invest in coaches or programs or offerings, whatever, like there's like a cookie cutter approach to success. And that's not true. You have to find success by finding that alignment within yourself. And you have to, again, choose to find that alignment, to recognize the journey you've embarked on, to understand the lessons you've learned along the way, to embrace what you've learned along the way. Again, not being victimized, not thinking life is happening to you, but shifting that perspective, seeing how it's happening for you, remembering how strong you are, remembering how incredible you are, your gifts, your wisdom, your talents, what lights you up, what fuels you, running with that, and choosing from that space to build a business that is focused, again, on solutions. You're going to hear in an upcoming episode with Nikki Cosmo, but I was talking about this a lot more in the next coming weeks about the solution. There's soul in those solutions, right? Soul is part of the solution. And so for you to understand that your soul is here to bring answers, like your soul is infused into the answers that your business is here to deliver. That's how you can really make an impact and really help and be of service, okay? So if you want to bring these solutions to challenges maybe people have, or again, you're not focusing on their pain points, you're sharing with them what is possible, what is already there for them, but those pain points and challenges are simply veils and challenges or opportunities for them to reclaim their power, for them to forgive, for them to be compassionate with themselves, for them to be compassionate or forgiving to themselves or others. Understand that you are here to share that wisdom of what you've been able to endure. So more than thinking about a niche, because that's the other thing, you will burn out if you are talking to everyone versus talking to a specific group of people. A niche is more, some people are like, you don't need a niche, but honestly, like people are going to come to you because you have the solutions for that specific thing or that framework or that arena, I should say. And so what you've learned from your own journey, you're here to share from your own experience with integrity, right? What you've already been able to conquer. Because when you can reflect and see how far you've come, and again, you need to make the time for that. You can't do that if you're on the constant hustle, go, go, go. But when you take those moments for meditation, take those moments to make tea, to be in nature, to nourish yourself, and you can find that gratitude for it and from whatever it's been, you're lit up and you can really reflect on how far you've come and just give yourself a pat on the back and be like, damn, I did that. And now I want to help other people get to this as well. So understand that don't push yourself. Things will come and they will come when you're inspired about the work that you're doing. So what I would also advise is to make sure you're taking, maybe every quarter, every half, every 6 months or so, really reevaluating to see if your business plan, the people you're talking to, the content you're creating is still lighting you up. And if it's not, then why are you doing it? Maybe you need to take when the time comes that you have money saved or whatever, you can take a sabbatical like I have and what I'm going to be continuing to do in 2021. I wanted to create these podcast episodes and bring you back to share something, but I'm tightening the last of the loose ends on how I'm shifting my business to really help and support sovereign leaders, right? People who are here to activate legacies. Those are the people I'm here to support. And I want you to know, like, there's going to be the only way, I should say, that you are going to make these changes or to have this shift, to pivot, is by you making that decision. No one else outside of you can tell you what to do or what not to do. It's you and your sovereignty, you and your power, you and your choice to make that pivot, to shift, to, again, embrace that death and rebirth that can happen, that will constantly happen in your business, because as you choose to continue to up level, there's going to be parts of you that will die. But you know what? We have to come from that space of gratitude. The things that we aren't inspired about anymore, we can be grateful for what led us to here. Again, what wisdom, what lessons did we learn from that? Take what resonates from what we learned from things that aren't inspiring us anymore and release the rest. So that's something I really want you to understand, because if you're in alignment, again, you don't have to push yourself hard. There's nothing that you need to prove. All you have to do is be in that space of surrender, trust, and allow it to flow. So the fourth thing I would really talk about here, and that I think is a very important piece for you to understand, is that, and this is something that I lost track of that led me to burnout, is that without a game plan and your systems in play, you'll find yourself on the hamster wheel. And on that hamster wheel, you're going to be spinning in circles with no end in sight. So it's time for you to alchemize those loops. It's why I created experiences like Alchemize Your Systems, where I'm helping people automate and have systems and flow so that things can be organized and things can run behind the scenes while you're focusing your time and your energy on the things that matter, of creating content, being that sacred vessel to hear the divine guidance on how you're here to be of service. Because it's also important to understand, like, if you are just creating content, but you're not leading to creating content that's going to support what you're selling, your offerings, whatever, then you have a hobby, you don't have a business. And sometimes it's the harsh truth with that. So you need to know what you're selling. You need to know who you're here to serve. You need to have a plan set in place with a strategy, okay? And you have to remember that you're not here to fuel a hobby. You are here to run a business. You are here to lead and to activate a legacy, right? And so these systems and automations, again, they allow you to have things flow behind the scenes. So if you have the ability to bulk out content, if you have the ability to plan ahead and really create these time blocks where you can, create content and be in that zone, like look good, put on makeup, like whatever you want to do, like get ready, and you'll be in that space, you'll be in that zone, right? So you're going to create and deliver medicine, course material, social media posts, podcast episodes, YouTube videos, what have you, right? You're going to be delivering with direction, and there's going to be a devotion to it rather than just half-assing, which is what I was doing a lot because I lost track with, the whole pandemic. I was losing track of my structures and my systems in a way of like bulking out ahead of time. I burnt myself out. And so if you are able to have these structures in place and put it in your calendar where you can be like, okay, from, on Wednesdays from noon to 3, I'm going to be creating content all day. and you're already in that zone. You're preparing yourself ahead of time. You're nourishing yourself before. Maybe you did a meditation. Maybe you did some breath work. Maybe you pulled your tarot. Maybe you ate something. Definitely you should eat something before. Spent time in nature, whatever filling up your cup looks like. If you're also doing that before and you're feeling good, then you can deliver content that's coming with strength, that's coming with purpose, that's flowing, that's in alignment, and that really you can bring forth that attention. You can command that attention because you're being consistent. So recognize that you want to plan out ahead of time. And I would suggest, think like for each quarter. So that's 12 weeks in a quarter. So imagine that's like, okay, let's say YouTube videos. You can have 12 YouTube videos that maybe you can plan ahead, you can script it out, and then, if you want to make all the graphics at that time or templates for those graphics, go for it. I think if you have these templates, like I said, like graphic templates to keep it consistent with your brand, your colors, your look, I would definitely not have them all be the same. But if you can have at least like 3 to 5 different ones, and then you can just change them out or whatever, again, with your colors to keep that consistency, that's a great way that you won't feel burnt out as well. Because again, you're consolidating your energy. It's all focused. Burning out, if you're not focused and you're not leading with purpose, there isn't direction or intention on like getting these pieces done, your energy is going to be like running thin, and it's going to be leaky. These game plans and these systems allow for your energy to be consolidated so that from that consolidation, there's direction, there's purpose. And so I want you to know that having these systems in place ahead of time, thinking of, what kind of podcast episodes you want to create, or like what kind of consistent Instagram photos do you want to do? Maybe, you're doing like a monthly tarot reading, for example, that you're showing up, and then people are going to be like, oh my gosh, like it's Aquarius season, for instance. I don't know why that came through. It's Aquarius season. Let me see what so-and-so has to say with my tarot cards, because last month it was phenomenal. So I want to come back and read it. So again, you need to come up with a game plan. Don't just half-ass it. Like think ahead, plan ahead. And again, I have all these systems set up. If you want to check it out, you can visit the links in the show notes where you can get a whole bunch of my resources. And I just invite you to really dive in deeper and start thinking about how to be part of the solution, what kind of content to create. So again, you can grab those freebies in the show notes below. If you're listening, check it out in the show notes. And if you're watching this on YouTube as well, you can also read all the links there. But I just want you to understand that planning ahead will make you feel like there's purpose behind it. And it's funny, as I record this and I just looked up at my clock, it's 2:22. So just know that this change is coming. There's shifts happening. And it's also interesting because 222 adds up to 6, and that's the Lovers. So that just came through with me from tarot as well. And 2022 is going to be a 6 year as well. So the fact that I said that during 222, this is telling me like this is like a sign for you to grab that freebie and to start thinking ahead on how you can plan and really set yourself up for success so that you don't experience burnout. So let's talk about the next piece, that the last lesson I really want to share with you about what I learned from extreme burnout. And the biggest thing you need to understand is that you don't have to do this alone. Maybe in the beginning, when you're starting this as a hobby, like you're wearing multiple hats. But over time, if you really want this to be a business, you need to also delegate. So hone in to your zone of genius and then ask for help in the areas that maybe you're good at, but it's not like the main factor. For instance, I can't have a virtual assistant record my podcast episodes for you. I have to record my podcast episodes for you if it's like my voice. I'm the host of this episode. But maybe I can have a virtual assistant create all the graphics for my podcast and can write the show notes or whatever. You know what I mean? You don't have to do everything. And guess what? If you have a business, you have to spend money to make money, without a doubt. So you asking for help is a non-negotiable, as well as you honing in on your zone of genius. Those are non-negotiables, because if you want to scale, if you want to grow, and if you want to be sustainable, you have to understand that it takes a village. There are so many incredibly skilled people out there that are ready to support you, and vice versa. Like, you can help so many incredible people as well with what you're here to deliver. So understand that if you put it all on your plate, again, and you don't take time to slow down, you don't take time to fill up your cup, you don't take time to rest, you are leading yourself to experience extreme disaster of that burnout, that you'll get to the place where you'll have no other option but to rest. If you're burning the candle on both ends and you're hearing to rest and you're not listening, and then you will get sick. You will have an instance or an episode or something that will require you to rest. And it's not going to be fun, because you want to go back out there and create and be of service. But you have to be of service to yourself first, again, to fill up your cup. And that's what I had to learn. And that's why, like, I'm slowly but surely coming back, because I'm doing my best to not push myself. And I'm also, recognizing and understanding that I need more rest as well. I mean, yes, it's been a wild 2 years, and, we're adjusting, especially if you're super sensitive and super in tune to what's going on, and you're hearing like you are here to be on mission. You are here to be part of the solution. You're seeing a lot of things most people won't see. Plain and simple, because it's an initiation for you. And death and rebirth will happen multiple times again with your business and with your life. There will be initiations, there will be shedding. And it's interesting too, because I just want to share this. I was talking about this with Marina Feeney, and you may have remembered her. She was in an episode in the past. And if you want to listen to her episode, I invite you to check out the show notes below. But I was talking with her, and she gifted me a snake mirror. I shared it here on my YouTube. I have it on my desk here. She made this snake mirror for me. And it's interesting because a lot of people have been really fearful of snake energy. And her and I were talking, because she's been staying with me. She was the first person to help stay at my house, because I haven't really been able to, I've had like essentially like night care, because I was having such severe episodes with, sleepwalking and whatnot. And we were talking about how there's been also so much energy around or fear around snakes, and how snakes have been infiltrated. But both her and I are like in Chinese astrology, the year of the snake. And, as a Kundalini yoga teacher, and just finding and recognizing and living in the desert and seeing so much snake medicine here, there's a lot about shedding layers. And we need to be shedding layers every time we up level. And sometimes if you do experience burnout, you'll have time to reflect, but those are layers shed. And I know for me, being, with my burnout episodes of having these seizures, even though brain scans aren't showing there's seizures, and I know for damn sure there have been exorcisms, but doctors can't say that because it's not Western medicine. And although if they did, it'd be considered malpractice. But I know I've been shedding layers that have been, again, everything I shared with you on this episode. They have been the layers or the perceptions of scarcity, of doubting myself, of insecurities, of hustling, of, cookie cutter approach of what success or what I think success is. I've had to shed all of that like a snake. And there's medicine to that. And I want you to also understand, part of the bigger thing you need to understand is that there's a lot of noise out there, but if you can go into your heart space, you can silence that noise, take time away from social media. And I'm guessing this would be like the bonus lesson from extreme burnout. But if you can take time away from social media, and again, connect with nature, connect with that inner voice, do some yoga, do some meditation, work with plant medicines, get in nature, like talk to your inner child, nourish your inner child, connect with your friends that are in alignment with you, that see you, that are actively doing the work alongside you. Like, start to be very discerning on the energy you surround yourself with and who is trying to control you, who is trying to manipulate you with their agenda versus what actually feels in alignment. And also, if you are still following people you don't resonate with, but you want that level of success they have, then you're following those people for the wrong reasons. You need to be following people or connecting with people or investing in people who are in alignment with the you, like your truth, the you are ready to really activate and embody. And it's more than just the money that they love to share on social media, right? And I mean, great. Let's all celebrate our success. Yes. Let's celebrate our wins. Yes. But there's more to that. How many are actually celebrating the mission and how many people they've impacted and the lives they've impacted on that? Those are the people that you need to surround yourself more with and to become one of those people as well. Celebrate each other's wins. Collaboration is the new competition, right? If we can collaborate and share and connect, and it doesn't even have to be people in business or whatever, connect with people, your friends as well. Like, I want you to understand that the lone wolf days are over. Yes, social media is a great tool, but it's not everything. Remember to be here in this moment, right here, right now. Remember to nourish yourself. Remember that alignment is stronger than hustle, and to come up with a game plan to be part of the solution. You know the solution you're here to deliver. How are you going to execute it? What is the game plan? What is the step-by-step, the journey that you are going to take clients through, the journey that you are going to take followers through, the type of content you're going to create on your social media platforms, the kind of courses you're going to create that are going to help your clients, potential clients, followers be part of the solution and reclaim their own power. So that's what I wanted to share with you on this first episode of the Sovereign Society podcast. I would love to hear what you thought. Please remember to subscribe and leave a rating and review. If you're watching this on YouTube, or even if you're not, I would love to see or hear what you thought of it. And we're going to be talking more about this as well inside the Sovereign Society group. It's a free group where I want to talk deeper about these podcast episodes. And I just want to I want you to know you are strong, you are abundant, and there's no one out there that can steer you off course when you are following your heart. If you need to rest, 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 rest. If you need a time out, take that time out. If you need to ask for help, ask for help. Remember, God has a plan for you. Life is unfolding for you, not to you. You have the ability to be part of the solution, and you have all the answers within. But there are people out there who are here to support you so that you remember that the lone wolf days are over. Thank you again for being here. I look forward to chatting with you. Let me know what you think inside. Again, the Sovereign Society, it's a free group. All these links are in the show notes. You can also find them if you go onto my Instagram and you click the links button on my bio. I'm excited. I'm going to be creating so much more content here on the podcast. I'm also going to be creating more YouTube content that's going to be supporting with business development. I took a quiz recently on my Instagram, and a lot of you are interested in business development, so I wanted to share that as well. But just know, any challenges you've endured, once you get to the other side, you have the ability to bring the solution and those answers through your business to help other people. And that's what I'm here to do with you and to help you and support you. So again, I want to thank you for being here. I love you, and I'll be seeing you next time. Take care. Satnam.